All right, so let's move on. So now that we got that piece out of the way, I want to just comment this whole block out, and I want us to continue. So I'm just gonna move that all the way down there. And let's start with working with the base object type. So far we worked with the date object type, and we want to create the regular object. So I'm just gonna call our variable object, and again I'm gonna say new, and then the type of whatever it is. And again, it's really important the way it's written. In classes in general start with an uppercase, and it's just because that's how the blueprint is called. If you call it with a lowercase, you'll just not call that class. All right, so we want to create a new object. And the object is really the most primitive, basic, and I shouldn't use the word primitive so not to confuse with primitive variables, but it's the most basic object type. Every single other object is derived out of that object. And although we didn't talk about object-oriented programming yet, this is really the first steps into object-oriented programming, where until a couple of videos ago, an hour ago, we were working with loose-ended things. We're working with variables, we were working with functions, but we didn't have anything that tied it all together into clusters. And that's exactly where objects come into the picture. There's much more beyond that, but that's a big component of why we work with objects, is to group things thematically based on a logical breakdown, such as our math class that we met, such as the date object that we've met. All right, so the new object, when we created, there are few properties that we could access, but they're really not interesting. They're not stuff that you would ever really need to approach unless you're an advanced developer, because it's a very low end type of things that the default of the most basic thing that an object has, every single object has, because a date is a type of object. It's not only a beautiful thing to say that it's a type of object, and actually a date extends the object. It's kind of like the grandchild of that object. So everything that the object could do, the date could do, and then the date could do more stuff. But what we could do with the object is we could create new properties with it. And the way to do it is really simple, and we've met the dot syntax before briefly. The dot syntax, just as when we want to access things, we type dot, and then we press on whatever we want to access. Same is true when we want to create new things in JavaScript. So for example, if I wanted to create a property inside of this new object that I created, and let's say I wanted to call it name, I could just set that property and just put a value there. My name is Ben Falla, and I could put an object there, let's say school, and the school is 0togeek.com. You know, our school name changed a couple of times, but right now it's 0togeek.com. So if you go, no, I'm kidding. I think this is going to be our final name. So with 0togeek.com is our school, and let's create just another variable, and let's say how old or age, right? So not my age, let's put the age of the school. The age of the school is 2 years, and we got this. Let's write 24, for months, because it just sounds better. So we exist 24 months already. That's impressive, long time. All right, so that was properties, very easy. We could have put into our properties primitives, as we can see now, but we don't have to put only primitives. We could also put other advanced objects. So for example, let's say I want to put here also a signature of the date when we created this object. I could go there and type object and let's say date and just set there a new date. All that was good. So I just created now 4 different properties. Now we call them properties even though there are types of variables, right? But when a variable belongs to someone, to who does the name belong? It belongs to the object that we just created. To who does the date belong? To the object that we created. So whenever we create something that has a relationship to something, we call it a property. It's not wrong and it's not a mistake for you to call it a variable, but that's really the differentiation. A variable on its own is not a property, but a property is a type of variable. Okay? So it's kind of saying like when you have a variable that doesn't belong to something, it's just a variable. When the variable belongs to an object, it's a property. Okay, so that's an important differentiation when you're reading different scripts online to understand why is it called a property, why is it called a variable, and when. Now that we created all these stuff, let's see how we access it. So obviously we could just access it with our famous alert that we've been using so far and go to our object name, and we could concatenate a story and say Ben Falla works and plays at object.school, and we could run this, and when we run it, we will see the connection of Ben Falla works and plays at 0togeek.com. Beautiful. And we could add into this maybe also and the time now is, although it's going to give us the whole date, which is fine unless we say the exact thing that we want. So let's say we're going to say the get time. which is going to give us the milliseconds since 1970. So the time now is this really randomly looking number, which is the amount of milliseconds that passed since the first of the first 1970. Cool.